BFS reel, little spot, dead of winter. That's a lot of fun. That's the power of light line, small crankbaits, BFS reel, and a nice little spot to go with it. Super cool. So if you're not familiar with BFS, Bait Finesse System, it is a really hot growing trend in bass fishing all across North America the last few years. Started out in Japan, and in essence it is the ability to use these little small, highly specialized bait casting reels to cast ultralight jigs, small crankbaits like I'm doing today. And you might say, well, why don't you just throw a spinning reel with those lightweight lures? Well, the fact is I get a lot more distance with this bait caster, and my cast control, my cast accuracy is considerably better by thumbing the spool as that bait approaches the water. This thing just casts little light crankbaits like this Rapala Shad Rap that are, you know, historically really hard to cast with a traditional bait caster. I can fire that thing a long way, and it has the reel has an 8-to-1 retrieve that allows me to get this little bait down and on the bottom, and I can just slow crawl it. So I don't have to over crank a 5 or 6-to-1 spinning reel to keep this bait on the bottom. This is a super fun way to fish, and it's something that I think in the winter months especially, it just shines because these very subtle, tight wobbling baits like the Shad Rap are so effective, but they're really difficult to cast. This changes everything. This has been a ton of fun. Come on, that's a big one. That's a bigger one. Come on. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one there. Look at that drag. Oh man. What is it? Woo. I want to see it. She's going sideways. That's a nice bass right there. Who says finesse is just for little fish, right? Look at that one. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, I need to talk about the equipment that goes into this Finesse BFS cranking technique, and really it all centers around the reel. This is the KastKing Kestrel Elite. This is a 4.4 ounce reel. It's the lightest bait casting reel on the market. It feels unbelievable in your hands. It just melts right into your hand. But this thing is not just you know, a lightweight bait caster. It has anodized brass and aluminum on the inside, so it's got plenty of strength. You just saw me catch that 3.5 pound bass right there. It's got plenty of strength, and it's got a great drag. This audible drag, it's super helpful for knowing how much pressure that fish is putting on there so that you can adjust the drag accordingly. This thing has an 8.4-to-1 gear ratio, so I can get it down, get this little crankbait down on the bottom and just slow crawl it. And that's where the bites have been coming from. 6-pound test line. I think it holds about 65 yards of 6-pound test. So these are shallow spool designs. They have a very easy or low startup inertia, and that's a fancy term that just means the spool gets going forward very easily without a lot of effort with these lightweight bait casters. And of course I have it paired with a really lightweight rod. This is a medium action Fenwick World Class. This is a very soft tip rod, but it's got a little strength in the midsection there. Cast this bait really well. And again, my accuracy is super good with the bait caster in my hand as opposed to a spinning reel. And then additionally, I can get a lot of distance. I can cast this little, I think it's a size 5 Shad Rap. I can cast that thing just like a typical square bill crankbait with this setup right here. So the whole system has to work together, the rod, the reel, and the line, and the little crankbait. And man, it is a fun way to fish. So much fun with this light tackle. And man, what a blast. If you haven't tried BFS, you ought to give it a shot, specifically BFS cranking.